Good morning, good morning. We get things set up here and we'll get going in a minute. Welcome, welcome. All right, just checking sound and everything. Good morning, welcome, welcome. We're going to get going in a minute. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, London Open for me is an hour later until next week. So this happens when we change the clocks because we don't do it all at the same time. So it is now 4:30 a.m. New York. Welcome to the stream. Got to be aware of these things, you know. Especially the London Open, activity, that initial activity that takes place right there, which is normally 3 a.m. on my chart. Want to let that come and go, and terrible time to get into a trade. But now we're getting into our normal activity. We'll see what we're looking at today. The plan is scalpy. Do some scalping. I may even do like something with a small account and try to grow it or something. I don't know. We'll see what we can do here. Something fun and interesting and exciting. Yesterday was very nice on the short entry on the retracement. This was the trade of the day right here. And that is going short in a downtrend on a fib retracement and weakness. Now, I talk about fibs a lot. Not all my setups are off of fibs. It just happens a lot. If we're looking at that today, and we have not seen any reason overall. I mean, we're talking about if we're scalping, it could be either direction. But general analysis, the background is still weak, and we're testing a fib area of today, of yesterday's down leg. And as we're just getting past London Open, we'll see what we're dealing with up here. But I might just focus mainly on the euro dollar today and scalping it. Everything working good in here. Let me just check. Good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome. Is that music annoying? I'll keep it really low. That bounce on the euro dollar was off fib as well. Let me see. Off of the low. Oh, okay. Was that a larger fib or something? Oh, yeah. I didn't even draw that in yesterday. I just managed the trade as it went down and got out. But yeah, I mean, if we go lower, we got to be aware of that 618 there as well. For now, just to have a clean chart, that's such a big zone. If we go lower, I'm going to want to see that. But for now, I'll remove it. All right. Well, let's get into it. Maybe what I'll do is just kind of aggressively scalp on my side account for fun, but I will be taking some of them in my main account. Maybe that'll keep things exciting. Like the good ones I'll take in my main account. The trade of the day type of trades, which is in this case, why is this changing so slow? If we see weakness on up moves, that's just my regular trading method, like yesterday looking to short, weakness up move. So that could be another test of yesterday's high and weakness. It could be here, but we just hit the London open volume and all that, so that's going to be high volume either way. So I wouldn't conclude too much. It actually had a very bullish reaction on regular volume. This might actually test this pretty soon. We'll see if weakness comes in there. As far as going with the bearish downtrend environment, markdown, haven't seen any high volume strength or any reason to do otherwise. But with the people are still joining. With the stream, sometimes I get very chatty, and sometimes there's nothing to do with the charts anyway when things slow down. But I want to try to stay focused today and scalp. So there may be periods where I'm not talking. Is that all right? That's all right. I'll let you know what I'm doing. You have your lovely lo-fi music in the background. If the music's annoying, I'll turn it off and put you to sleep. So I just wanted to get past this London Open volume spike so I can read what's going on volume-wise without that artificial sort of increase. What's going on news-wise today? High Impact US, 10 a.m. New York time. And we have light stuff until then. Okay. In an hour is the next piece of news, light for the pound. Okay. Nothing big until U.S. session. So right now I'm looking to see if as we're moving around past the London Open volume spike, what the chart is saying. So I figure if I focus on scalps, I'll be very focused. I won't get too chatty. I can scalp a little aggressively on my side account. I again take the more regular, little more conservative trades on my main account. But that might be something to try. If I can be like focused, if I could feel as focused as I normally feel, then that might be cool to do. So first piece of information here, the high volume London open spike, it's always going to be there. I don't read too much into it. But that's what we have right now. As a result, we did move up. We didn't see any high volume weakness there. And that suggests we may continue up, another leg up, especially if we saw some strength here, which we're not seeing right now. Not seeing high volume strength, demand coming in. So I'm just trying to get a cohesive story going off of the London Open activity and what we have so far. It's a nice reaction to higher prices where there wasn't much supply selling coming in volume-wise. And again, we may look to continue that. It would be nice to see strength here, along with that lack of supply. Not showing up at the moment. Maybe we can pop a little lower and see that. But generally, I'm trading with the small time frame trend, unless volume says otherwise. I could be going short while everything's saying buy, buy, buy. It's higher highs, higher lows. Everything's freaking green and shit. But if volume says short, I'm shorting, So it's a direction to trade in if volume agrees. If volume is flat, if there's nothing going against that volume-wise, then I can stick with the trending move, which in this case we have higher highs, higher lows. Welcome, welcome. Where is everybody today? Too much Halloween partying? People are going to miss the big scalp extravaganza. We'll see how that goes. So this could have been an opportunity maybe for a long here, but we're certainly not seeing the proper reaction yet. So I'm just waiting to see what it wants to do here. That's where this is at the moment. I'll probably mainly just focus on the euro dollar, but there's got to be similarities. I may venture off. If the US dollar is driving things and it's all very clean from that, they're going to be similar. But, scalping, you get the better spread. And I just kind of like doing that sometimes, just focusing on one pair, euro dollar kind of being the obvious one. If I'm doing this kind of thing. So we'll see what happens down in this zone. It'll be telling. So far, the buyer hasn't come in to look for this next wave up. Give it a minute and see how it behaves here. Yep. Still not seeing any buying come in here. It may end up reversing as far as the momentum. So we saw as soon as this came in to our zone, this is all pointing to a test for buyers. Long story short, buy activity. So that's not showing up just yet. Certainly decreased volume. So this opportunity right now, until something changes, unless something changes, is not something I'm getting in. If we had a spike in activity, that would be a better start for that setup. This is suggesting more that we may visit that little swing support there. Right? Logically, if we're not getting buyers here for another wave up, we might be heading down to there. Now, if I had proper weakness here, that's something I might have looked for. So let's let it resolve here. Let's see what the 1 minute looks like. Like my colored bars and my nonsense. Christmas is early now on my chart. What is that big fib? Do I want that right now? I don't. 618 overshoot. Yeah. It's kind of annoying. For future reference, yeah, I think I'll lighten up the box a little bit. Oh, that's the line. That's not the box. Where's the box? A little too disruptive. Good morning, Mr. JP. You're from India. Welcome. Is it possible to purchase the course through other methods except PayPal? No, I don't have anything else set up. I saw card option was there, but wanted confirmation. Card option? You, as far as I understand, I don't know if it's a little different because you're in India, but as far as I understand, you don't need a PayPal account to use PayPal if you have a card. I think you can pay through that. I'm not sure, but I think so. Because I don't have anything else set up, But if it does, Deepak, welcome back. How are you? But yeah, if you're seeing a card option and PayPal's giving you that option, then you're fine, yeah. So the plan for today, besides the the trade of the day, as I call it, the bullseye trade, is looking for weakness on up moves to get with this downtrend, which is still intact. Smart money is short until further notice, until high volume says otherwise. So weakness into up moves. Yesterday was a nice setup with that. And then otherwise I'll be scalping and mainly focusing here on the euro dollar and try to make it interesting. At least the small time frame analysis might be helpful for learning and for whatever you may be trading at the moment, whatever method. So, like I said, at this point, I like to get past the London Open volume, which is I don't trade right at London Open. I let that happen, and then we get to regular stuff. So following that, once we got out of that volume spike, not much weakness here on a fake break pattern, which sometimes does show a lot of weakness. So not a lot of selling activity, which could have brought buyers here and look for another leg up to this high, but that is not attracting buy activity. So we may actually continue down from this point. So now that we're past this high volume, we can piece together on a high, low, medium activity what's happening. This is likely to go to support, more likely than continue up. I could even scale in a position at this point based on that. As far as aggressively scalping because of that information. But like I said, today I want to mainly focus on Eurodollar, scalping, small time frame analysis. They're going to be similar with the other pairs. US dollar driven stuff hopefully is always the best anyway. And correlation. And I want to see if I can be focused while I'm live streaming to really scalp aggressively. Probably shouldn't talk nonstop and just watch when I need to. And if I feel like I can do that, then maybe we'll do something with like grow a small account kind of thing for fun. Some of these trades I'll take on my main account if they're just my normal, more conservative entries. My scalp method, of course, looking to short on weakness today if that comes around. But the worst I do, if I'm very aggressive, is break even. I tend to not really lose money. On a bad day, I'll break even kind of thing. So I want to see if I can be as focused while I'm streaming. You get what I'm saying? That's kind of what I'm looking to find out today. But also the small time frame analysis, it's general analysis. Whether I'm on a 1 minute, a 5 minute, it could be a 1 hour chart talking about your background. And these simple volume, things and this and that. It's all stuff that if you're learning would be good to learn. Doesn't matter really the time frame. It's knowing how to read a chart right. It's fractal anyway. See, this looks like it wants to drop, and I might possibly start small and do something on that. As far as aggressive, kind of aggressive. But one of the main things it's showing is the lack of much buy activity here, which means it's more likely to continue to support. So yeah, I'm going to put a small position on the Eurodollar short just to start off going with something with good probability. Let's start small in this account. Let's see. Scalpy. 32 would be how many pips? 8 pip stop. That's pretty small. 9 pip. 7 pip. 32.9. That's 8 pips. All right, so I got a little short on the euro dollar to get warmed up with an 8 pip stop. Yep, got in at 24.9, 25 basically. See if we can get down to support is way past a 1-to-1 risk reward. So let's just, the drop through here is very likely and kind of see how it behaves. Welcome. Understand how to explain how to understand. I need more coffee than I can read. Strength and weakness on higher time frame. After do I have to mail a screenshot? No, I get an email notification. No need to do anything. Is the new method you are testing or the old method? Is this? Oh, I'm not testing anything today. Just scalping. I'm testing if I am able to do this and focus while I'm live streaming and aggressively scalp. So as far as answering questions, we'll probably take a point in time to do that. Take a little break or something. There goes the short scalp. Let's see if we can get something decent there. So I want to be very focused on the chart. I'll give live analysis, and then we can always take a break and answer questions. Is crypto trading easier than Forex? Easier? It depends how it's behaving. Depends what's going on. It has its moods. It goes from, trending to stuck in a range for 2 months. So right now I'm not day trading. I'm only swing trading. So that's the plan for today. I'm super focused on the chart. Doing some aggressive scalping on my side account, some of which those trades I will be taking on my main account if they're not so aggressive. And we'll see what we get. So I did start off with this little position on the euro dollar short just to get things going. Like I said, coming to this fib area and not seeing volume, having an actual decrease, gives a probability it's going to try to continue down. If not, we pop up here. I'm down 7-8 pips, and I would get out. First little position, warm up scalp. This one I didn't take on my main account. I was getting warmed up and like, can I be focused in a live stream and do this? So we'll see. But yeah, any questions about anything, comments, I'll be checking in on the chat here and there. Just not constantly so I can stay focused. But I'll be giving the analysis as things progress. Some higher volume here in a 1 minute, just really getting in there. Looking at the result, it is a higher close. Normally the strength will show up here, and if not, it does a leg down, but anything could happen. With this volume, I'd like to see typically the reaction before I read too much into it, and the reaction is up. So as far as scalping, yeah, I could close it down half a pip. It's not what I want to see there. But again, that was pretty aggressive, tiny position just to get things going. So I'll give it a minute, see how this 5-minute closes. If we can get down below this on a 5-minute close, below here, without too much strength coming in, that would be a good start to moving down. Messing with these indicators just for fun. Blue uptrend, red downtrend, black somewhere in the middle. If the analysis says trade against the indicators, I'll happily do that. Now let's see if we can close down on the 5-minute. Yeah, there's a bit of activity though. We want to make sure we don't get a sign of strength. Again, typically the sign of strength would show up here. And since it didn't, it's going to try to continue down. If it shows up here, I could just close it. It's obviously not, it's just barely in a profit right now, so could always close around break even if something goes wrong. So at least there's live analysis here. You're seeing the scalping that I'm doing. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's see the reaction. So how to grow small portfolio account. Well, this might be a good way to do this, a good example of this live. I think that'll be very informative and fun to take a small account and scalp it live and see what we can do. And you know, you get obviously the analysis and the learning along with it, and that'll be cool. Yeah. Again, today is kind of a test run of that. I want to see if I can be focused enough to do that while I'm streaming, you know. Or if I think it's, you know, stressful or whatever. I don't know. It's not going to be stressful in a small account, but you know what I'm saying. It's kind of a test run here. But I did put a small position on this. Let's see. As a first little warm-up. So, you know, I'm not out here calling trades. I'm not saying copy me or anything like that. Definitely the educational part is the benefit right now. Sound good? Or let me know what you guys might want to do and see. I think that's a good idea. Sir, what's you explain on your course which you didn't explain in your YouTube videos, and why you cannot explain YouTube? Like I said, I share everything on YouTube. I don't hold anything back. If you want it presented in an organized way, you can buy the course. I'm not pressuring anybody to buy the course. In fact, I always tell people, just watch the YouTube videos. It's all there. If you feel like I'm, you know, am I getting everything? It's a little disorganized. I have to watch so many hours. I got to watch, you know, I don't know. Then there's the course if you want it more organized. And the course is like, I made sure every single thing is covered. So, you know, it's up to you. That's how it ended up being. Ego on the line. I want to say I don't have an ego, but everybody does. I went down the route of how egoless can one be, and I found there's a limit. No matter what people teach, you lose yourself in the black void, and that's not good either. You got to have some perspective on who you are and what the hell you're doing. Anyway, we got a scalping profit. I'm up about 5 or 6, 5 pips. Again, this is my first little aggressive warm-up, get used to it kind of thing. I didn't like the high volume at the lower prices the previous 5 minute, but looking at the result, if we can close down and not see strength, that would be good. See how aggressive this move wants to be. If we stay below the support that it just broke and it acts as a resistance, it's a nice aggressive move. If we come back up, we might be hanging around. See how it reacts here. See how aggressive this is. Sellers. Yeah. Yeah. That's fun. Personal challenge. Again, I am not calling trades, quote unquote. Okay. Just to be clear. All right. Pete, what the hell, man? I lost so much money today. Hell, man. I'm not getting all these like intense questions about the course. I'm not pushing the course. Don't buy the course. I don't know. Do whatever you want. It's so intense. It's not like a car, you know? If it's expensive, I'll give you a discount. Whatever. So intense, my man. So US dollar index trending up is only going to be good for the short. A little warm-up scalp. Again, I'm generally focused on the euro dollar. Things are going to correlate if they're US dollar driven. Euro's on the trending down there. Euro index, dollar index trending up. So they are a nice match for the moment. Good morning, good morning. So as far as questions, maybe, at a point where I'll take a break from looking at the chart to get into stuff like that. All right, so it looks like maybe it is doing a break test, right? Yeah, things overshoot a little. We're on a 1 minute. We didn't actually close in there or anything. And yeah, as far as seeing strength, I hear you. Yeah, there was that. But the thing is, it didn't appear here, and that's usually pretty telling if the buying doesn't show up here. If it did, I certainly would not have shorted. But it broke through and hit a little something here. See the reaction. That was after I got in. It was right after I got in. Because of that not showing up was likely to break. I mean, I could move my stop to break even. So if this lower low, lower high pattern breaks down, I get out. Stop is all the way up at 24.9, so that's really not bad. Or minus spread, whatever, so 24-ish here. Yeah, I could do that. All right, moving my stop to break even. Now there's a short scalp. First trade, warm-up trade. All right, so no risk. No risk on the trade. The initial stop loss was 8 pips. So I'll just run through the questions once I take a break. I mean, if you're asking questions, that's fine. I just won't be able to answer them while I'm super focused on the chart. As far as long answers. Volume setting, no, regular volume. Just happens to have colors. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't need it. Regular volume indicator. So again, reason for going short. I'm going with the small time frame momentum. Yes, that even is down to the 1 minute. If volume says go against the small time frame, I'll do that too. So if volume agrees, coming to this area where that shows buyers, let me go to the 5 minute, which is really summarizes the scalp story. Higher highs, higher lows. London open volume, I don't trade there. Let's get past it. Didn't show too much weakness here. Whatever. Normal activity now. So lack of buying in here says we're likely to test support. It doesn't have to go all the way there for a scalp, but it's going to try if there's lack of activity here. So that's what we saw there. This is all test for demand area. Just think of all this stuff here as test for demand. If we had high volume rejection, we'd likely be continuing up. That's the reason for the trade. Also, moving stop to break even after seeing some potential strength, some stalling perhaps, but it also the pattern really breaks down to hit the stop loss, which is here now at break even. So if we're going to continue this lower lows, lower highs, maybe one more leg down gives a decent scalp. If we pop up, then we'll get out break even. This one I just took small on my side account. I'm just getting warmed up. Some of these I will be taking on my main account. Depends how conservative, aggressive it is. But being more aggressive on my side account is, doesn't make me nervous. And in the end, I don't really lose money. It's fine. Now, 1 minute 14 EMA doing its job. Previous supports and resistance doing its job. And then that way we stay in the trade. If they're not doing their job, get out of break even. So that's my thoughts here right there. Is this good? This is good stuff, right? Again, this could be a 1 hour chart and you're saying, okay, it's bearish and is likely to continue based on the same type of analysis, right? You could have a large fib and so on. So as far as understanding how to read a chart, it doesn't really matter the time frame. So it should be good material here also. Yeah, exactly, where volume rules all. And so I get your point, and that is a good point to make. Volume rules all. And if you're looking at this chart and you don't have volume on, you bought here for whatever reasons. Moving average pullbacks on scalping, whatever it is. And I would have done that. But to see this lack of activity says, okay, we're going to actually try to get down to support. It's just probability. So volume is going to, while everything's green, I'm talking about selling. So, indicators, yeah, they show certain things and momentum and whatever, certain areas to test things. But they're not giving me the direction, to trade. It's kind of like by default you can go with them unless volume says not to. Half the time volume says to ignore the fact that all the indicators are saying buy and actually sell. Like yesterday's short, right? Which was pretty textbook. But if you're looking at it here, a 5-minute, 1-minute chart, you're seeing greens and blues. You're not seeing any reason to short, but that was a textbook setup. So, it has its use. I don't mind knowing that I'm going against the indicators. I want to be aware of that for certain reasons. Let's see if we can get one more leg down that gives a decent scalp target. Maybe close some and hold to support if there's not strength coming in. But first, let's get another leg down, hopefully. Is that music annoying? It's good. It means we're here. I'm here. You didn't lose sound when I don't talk for a while. Okay. So we got a little... Where's the music levels? No music? So I took it on this account. Small position, just warm up. There's my 1-to-1. I hit my 1-to-1. There it goes. So as far as the scalp, it was aggressive. It was a warm-up. I took it on my side account because, again, like I said, I'm actually going to close half. Just want to see if I can do this live and be focused. So I'm not worried about the trade size right now. All right, so I closed half the trade at the 1-to-1, 8 pips. We had an 8 pip stop. Now stop is at break even. I closed half the position, and from this point, what I do is just look at what the chart is suggesting is going to happen from a simple 5-minute point of view. We're going to test that and see what happens when we get there, as far as a bounce or a break. But very simply in this situation, once you break through a fib retracement, which is general rule, and you especially don't see the strength and you're starting to move down, you're likely to test the level, the support, wherever you drew the fib from, right? Very simple. So if we're not seeing strength here, I need to hold this to support. And if strength doesn't show up there, maybe I'll just lock some in and not close it yet, right? See if it breaks. So that's how I manage, especially once you have some in the bank, stop loss at break even, and the chart says it's going to keep going. You know, scalp is a scalp, but sometimes you end up holding it. You end up waiting, and you get more out of it. No risk. Small time frame tells smart money buying activity, or higher time frame tells. I can answer a question now. It's the activity of the market. It's however you want to look at it. You can look at it in details. You can look at the overall and take all the data and look at it in hour, 4-hour groups. Or you can look at it in a 1-minute presentation. Same data. It's the same data. Same tick data. However you want to package it and look at it. So almost close on the 5-minute. This is the support that would be nice to stay below. Okay, a bit of buying there, so. Again, my stop is up at break even at 24.9. Just a bit of buying, not much. But it's if we get that plus the fake break pattern, which we got there, this is just a quick 1 minute. That says we just lost a little bit of probability. It's all probability, right? But that's fine. I could close the rest right here. 5 pips. But I'll leave it. Stop at break even. That's not a huge spike in volume. It's a pretty good, strong momentum to the downside. That's not the greatest information to do a fake break pattern with some buy volume, but it's not much. No risk. It's not like I'm about to go long. It's still quite bearish. Just could have avoided that pattern, but it's there and took away some probability, but I'm going to stay in it with the stop at break even. Again, there was an 8 pip stop. If I close half at 8 and half at 5, you know, whatever, I'm not overly concerned with risk reward ratio, as long as the losses are small. If you're going to scalp, you got to do the small losses and just take it. So the way I see it is still more likely to move down, but not as good as when I first got in because of this fake break pattern with a bit of buying. Not much, but the pattern is there. This is the first close above the 14 on the 1 minute we've seen in a while too, so it is a bit of momentum loss on the down move. Nothing crazy. So we don't need the fib anymore. All right, so holding on the short, stop at break even. Let's see what we can do today on this account as a warm-up. What did we start with? I don't know. We'll say we started at 60. I think I have... Is that today? Okay, that's today. We'll round it off to 60 as our starting balance. But today I'm just doing this to see if I can be focused while I'm live streaming, aggressively scalping, so... We'll see if it becomes a regular thing. What are we doing here? A little bit stuck. Conditions have been so good for scalping. Let's not get stuck. Keep going somewhere. So welcome, welcome. If you're new, today we're scalping. Short the euro dollar. From 24.9, 25 basically. Can we understand through volume what's next is going, whatever, if there is FOMC meeting? Well, you can understand what positions smart money are in. Have they been getting in or getting out, and in what direction? When I could tell you what to expect on news very often. Whatever the chart says. Sometimes it says activity has died out. We've seen exiting of positions. We haven't seen any accumulation or anything. And they're waiting for news. Other times there is definitely pre-positioning before news that can predict what it's going to do. When it comes to the news move, I'm not looking to jump in when news comes out. I'm looking at the reaction to the initial move, the reaction to the news prices. And a little activity here. If we get it closed down as a result, that'll be helpful. It's a little tiny baby fib. How small is too small? That's the mini fractal version of the entry, right? The entry was to see this pattern break through here without volume and then enter. We just saw volume. Yep, and there you go, you see? Even a little tiny baby fib. Showed activity on a 618 overshoot. Can't be surprised if it pops up. But my stop's at break even. And again, that's a 1 minute chart. It could do a little something and then continue. That's just really detailed information. My stop is 24.9. So could very well reject and continue. If not, I get out. Closed partial profit at 8 pips. Initial stop was 8 pips. But you see from the 5 minute point of view, there's just nothing going on. Activity got very quiet, and it's not showing strength, so that's why I'm hanging on, see if I can hang on to it. If we had high volume strength, I would consider just closing it, call it a scalp, basically 1-to-1, get out. But you see it's really flat volume-wise, so could kind of go wherever it wants. We'll see. No risk on the trade. Again, I took it in here as a little warm-up, tiny position. Oh. Stop at break even. We're up a pip, 1.3. $14 EMA in the 5-minute might save me. Or might not. Yeah, it's likely to go lower. Yeah, as far as the scalp, though, I just don't want it to run into drawdown. In this case, I could always look to get back in, see what goes on. But yeah, if I really thought it was leaning more bullish, I would have closed it. I would have closed all of it, rather. All right. Well, we're going sideways for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes, but still leaning bearish. Stop at break even. Half of the trade closed. All right, so out of that trade, that second half just closed, hit the break even. So that was a pretty easy one. Indicators had nothing to do with it. The lack of activity at the fib we had drawn here said it was likely to continue, but it ran into a little trouble, a little fake break pattern. 1 minute showed that buying we saw in real time. I drew the baby fib, right? It said, yeah, it's good to close half and have your stop at a break even, because it lost some probability that it would actually reach that support. So that looks like a wise decision as far as a scalp. Move on to the next. So as I'm glad we're not stuck. Let's keep moving. And as far as from here, right, let's keep following the small time frame analysis. Again, they're going to be similar on the other dollar pairs, especially if it's US dollar driven, which I like. And even though it's small time frame, 5 minute, 1 minute, it's all about reading the chart, and it's the same analysis on larger time frames for your background, for your major levels, to see where things are generally positioned from and what's going on. And the smaller time frames is just to show a smaller time frame version of that. Generally in the background, bearish, downtrend, and I'm looking for a weakness on up moves today. It doesn't mean I can't buy as far as a scalp. And if we do get up into new territory up here, we'll see what happens as far as weakness. We'll see what levels are to the left. It doesn't even matter right here, right now. I have not seen weakness yet. This is a little hard to gauge because this volume is higher than all of this, but it's also coming off of the London Open, which always has a high volume. So it's hard to gauge. This is always a pain in the ass to the left because it's going to be high this time of day no matter what. And you could be testing a level and saying, oh, it's a high volume at that level, but it's going to be high no matter what at this time of day, London Open. So more information. Let's move around, and then obviously now we can trust if we see high volume. So maybe it does want to do another leg up. It was just a bit of a further retracement. We don't see much buy activity though, but it was kind of looking like it wanted to do that. But the buyers didn't show up. So maybe go to support, but then they did a little, and now we're kind of flopping around. So I'll go either direction. This stuff here, the moving averages and this thing, is just showing you sort of the retracement areas. It's, for example, if you're moving down, right, we have the fib there as well, and that tells you about buy. It's test for buying. It's going to tell you about demand. If you're coming up to it, it'll tell you about supply. Here you can see a lot of demand came in. That was not on a market open. It was just a lot of demand. And the result. Let's see what the next move might be. Did get a little quiet there. It is more likely to break that at some point soon. To the downside. Yens, yeah, I'm not going to jump around on pairs, but now where are the yens? Yeah, it's kind of similar. Dollar index is trendy. If it's trendy, then I'll stay with the dollar pairs. If this flattens and dies and the yen is moving, then I might have to switch. But that's good for now. See, is that going to come in as a weakness? High volume up, bearish reaction. Well, got a bit more activity, see what it leads to. So right now, just want to see what's next. There may have been weakness into this up move that you want to call confirmed if we close down as a result. It's not very high volume at all, but it's a slight activity increase. It's kind of quiet right now. See the result. Maybe they're pushing higher. Maybe it gets sold into. Maybe it doesn't. This is a wait and see the outcome. We could also do this now. Tells about sell activity. So I consider this a moment to wait and see. See what it wants to do next. Okay, didn't take long. We got in the fib. Let's see what's going on there with potential sell activity or not. What's that face? What does that mean? Oh, acceptance below 23 short. Oh. Yeah, that was before. Okay. Yeah, let's see what happens here now as far as telling us about sell activity. It would be possible to go short off of high activity weakness. Some kind of increase here. And if we're not seeing weakness, it's similar to how we didn't see strength there. If we're not seeing weakness into here, then it's likely to test the high, right? Same thing, just did in reverse. So that's some information we can get now. The volume is very low, so if sellers are excited, maybe they'll pop in here. We'll finally get some decent volume and squash down the price. Yeah, kind of. So again, to kind of summarize here, this is an area that's going to tell us about sellers, and we see that activity, weakness, weakness. It doesn't mean I want to go short right now. If we're popping up, maybe we'll go a little further and see that again, and maybe actually get some high volume, which this is all really low. Be nice to see more. So it's a situation where, right, the buying is pushing it up, and we see the reaction of sellers. It's a very, again, wait and see situation, but either way, you get an answer, right? We barely got in there, and we did see some selling. So there could be a lot of selling in there. Look for a short, and again, it could float on through without it, and look to get long, maybe on a pullback after that. If it just wants to come down, then we'll deal with that. We'll say, okay, there was some weakness at the fib, at least relative to the recent range. It's not huge volume, but that does suggest we go back down. Let's see what it wants to do. There's some activity picking up finally. So here with that volume increased, again, it's all kind of small, but relative, we have a bit of increase. The result of that, if we close up, especially just on more average volume, closing up as a result, is very likely going to try to test here. Is that a long scalp? Well, actually it closed down, closed very similar. All right, so there's a bit of a mix. Let's see the outcome of this. We all kind of similar, dollar index. Oh, this guy's moving. It's likely going to test the fib if it's going to come off of that volume and move up here. Yeah. I mean, that's a very aggressive scalp because there could be sellers right in there. Now it's just going to go anyway. There was light impact news 15 minutes ago. Forgot about that. It was light impact. Maybe that was... Oh, that's what that was. Is that what it was? 2 minutes in? Yeah. That was that. Light stuff. The big stuff is later. So I got that coming up. Yeah, it wants to test this fib. That's a very aggressive long scalp, though. Yeah, there's a mix of buying and selling. There could be a lot of selling in there, potentially. Squash it back down. Also, if you look at the structure, it barely made a new high, and that had some weakness. So that's a little too aggressive, a little too low probability to jump into that. Coming down. Okay, I kind of preferred that. Even though it's quiet, what we do have is showing some weakness there. And again here. Five-minute. Close below the 14 is going to help the probability of continuing down on the 5-minute. 14 EMA this. See, which is part of my regular scalp entry of a 5-minute. So I'll see if that confirming weakness and closing down might get me back into the short. Well, that's pretty good action there. It's likely going to continue down to support. Especially if the volume drops off here and we have low volume. At this little checkpoint and close down as a result, it might go for the support again. And whatever's down here, who knows? See where this closes and then where the 5-minute closes. All right. So from a scalp perspective, it'd be nice to get out of this box now, this range. up here is really clearly going to tell us about supply sellers. If we want a really clean situation, we get rejected here off a high volume and look to short. Again, same logic, same stuff. Doesn't matter the time frame, whatever it is. If we don't see weakness, then it's likely doing its leg up, right? So these checkpoints are very telling. That was a checkpoint here saying it was going to move down. But we kind of just got stuck here. Let's see. Okay, now to really tell us about sell activity. And especially we can get right up into this area. God, what is this music? Dong, dong, dong. God, what is this music? You know what this you know what this music is? It's freaking AI generated music. It totally is. A human did not make this. There's the selling, right? There you go. Right on cue, right? That's an easy one. All right. Well, look for my short entry based on that information. That's AI music. Oh. I'll have to figure out something better. I'll still probably get a copyright claim for this AI generated garbage music. It's putting samples together. Probably randomly based on tempo and key. All right, so we did see selling show up right into the area that we were waiting to see if they were going to, and they did. So now, as far as confirming a short, aggressive scalps aside, you'd be looking for no demand. But first thing is to see the reaction. If we can't close lower, right, the selling is not really overtaking it. Can't really confirm it as weakness. And we'll see, of course, the 5-minute volume, what that really looks like. So I would go either way off this, just has to give an answer. Again, if the volume dies out and it breaks through, we're trending up, I'll look for the long. If the weakness really confirms lack of strength as well, lack of demand, ideally, go for the short. That is the spot to give us some information. I mentioned the long scalp up into here, but it was just too aggressive. Because you're buying right into potential selling. It could be so quick, too. There's the 618 test. We did actually go up as a result of that initial high volume, so it'd be nice to see some more high volume up there. 618 overshoot if it goes a little higher. Yep, there's that volume again. So now we know this area, this price area right here, is seeing the high volume. Let's I can update. Let's put it at. I know it's a lot of lines. All right, whatever. High volume is taking place between there and basically there. I'll get rid of that for now. So to see a outcome, right? High volume there, that price area. This one failed to close out or give a result. These two. If we can come down on decreased volume, then we're likely moving down. See, it's still the volume. So it's all in this price area right now, this volume. I want to see the result. This is a 1 minute chart, so, you know, not taking a quick 2 minutes as a effort result, you know. At least a 5 minute for that. But just to get the details as it happens. Oh, there's a reaction outside. Let's see if it closed down on a 1 minute chart. Maybe the volume chills out again, back to normal average, and that shows the result. The first piece of information, the result of that activity and weakness coming in, confirming, which we expected, but we needed to see it. If they didn't show up, we would have been probably continuing up, right? So again, just to point out, all the indicators are green and blue and buy and, you know, okay, there's one little sell thing. And I'm talking about selling. So I don't mind seeing that I'm going against this momentum. And I don't mind seeing these moving averages and blah, blah, blah. But it's not giving me my direction to trade. I'm being made aware that I'm going against the momentum, so to speak, in this case. Okay, that's a nice low volume reaction there. We didn't get rejected back up from buying, right? We saw the selling here and came out as a result. Watching on the 5 minute here, testing the 14 EMA. If that closes below, it's more likely to continue down in the near future. All right, closed just above. That's a little extra confirmation there. But I like to wait for the 5 minute to close on the proper side of the 14 EMA, in this case below it. I mean, aggressive scalping, I could go in before that, but we're here. Let's see. Try to wait it out. But it's a good area, first area to tell you about buyers. We know sellers are active. Tell you about buyers here. We could come back up and then see a double top fake break and weakness again, and then right. So let's see what happens off of that. If we close right down, then we're probably just going to go. I'm just watching this right here for potential short. A bit of a high volume rejection. I want to see the outcome. It's a bit of buying here. Are we getting through that? Five minute is at the 14 EMA, about to close below. Okay. Volume is not high. I can start by scaling in a partial position or wait out the close, which is less than a minute. Okay. Little up movement here is not the end of the world if it's on low volume. 5-minute close. Close below. Bit of buy activity hanging around, just a bit. Like I said, ideally low volume here. It's not low. Relatively. But more likely to come down. See if we can get some more better information, which would be closing down with even less volume, decreased. If we pop up to see weakness again. So kind of stuck going sideways still. Lack of activity here is good. That's suggesting it, if it tries again to break out to the downside, it should be able to. Some high volume here. Maybe it'll come down off of that and then not show that volume there and break. Would have been nice to get more weakness, some higher volume stuff. It's all kind of quiet right now if you zoom out and get perspective on the volume. It's all kind of quiet. Working with what we got today. Sitting in a range. Almost an hour here, just this range. So that's nice coming down off of that weakness as a result. And if we can get to here and again see this low volume, it's likely to break and get out of this range. Break to the downside. It's all about not seeing strength here. Basically low volume test, no demand, leading to the break, low volume break of the range. It's likely going for that. Start to lose the risk reward, the small stop as we come down. Yeah, it's likely coming to test that. Scaling in is an option. Waiting is an option. There it goes. Yeah, I'm going to have to put something on there, right? Just don't reject on high volume. Look at the way it bounced. Don't do that. See some aggressive pushing back maybe. But again, coming off of that weakness is nice. A good aggressive move, and then we want to not see a bounce back off strength. Then we're going to be stuck here again. Maybe for a little while. I'm going to break out. What's up? What's up? So, yeah, what is this? A 10 pip range we've been in for an hour? Yeah. 12 pip range. Had a little short earlier. Somewhere in here. I think it was there. A little first scalp. And then we're now sitting here sideways for an hour. 12 pip range. Come on. And sitting in the middle of the range. Yeah, I don't mind doing small time frame analysis, but we're really dealing with, look at it like that. But yeah, here, this level, we did see some selling activity. If we're coming here again, we'll see if it shows up or not. So far, no. But we just kind of got there at the end of that bar, so we didn't really spend any time there. Let's see what it does if it rejects again. Maybe it'll go for the low. Now we'll be stuck in a 6 pip range. I'll scalp it up, but once you get really stuck in a tiny range, what are you going to do? Are the other guys moving? I really just wanted to focus on euro dollar. Looks like we're extra rangy on the euro dollar. Nice pick. All right, then. Back to the top of the range. 618, 618 overshoot. So the higher volume is here, and the more it rejects down off of that volume, means we're still expecting it to come down. If it wants to break to the upside on average volume, it's likely now I would be looking for long entries. So let's get to the point here. This 12 pip range, which is now 15 pips. 13. Looks like we are going to see some volume there. So maybe the double top fake break 618 overshoot. Yeah, starting to see some high volume here. If we reject off that, again, it's confirming bearishness. And it's really not high volume, but yeah, compared to the recent range, things are kind of quiet. So we'll see the result if we get a fake break pattern, come back inside that range to confirm weakness. Maybe it's not going to do that. Let's see the 5-minute close. Well, like I said, if it breaks us to the upside, it's likely testing the high. I can look for a break test continuation, scalp up, because it was the idea of running into selling here. But if that's gone, So I do need to see where this is going to close. Does it get squashed on high volume, or does we close up on lower volume? Bitcoin, I may just go up here, right? Bitcoin, I swing trade, so I'm holding Bitcoin in this 1920 range. It feels like forever. I bought as much as I'm willing to buy here. If it goes lower, I'll buy more on strength at the right times. If we start to move up, I'm waiting until we get well over 30,000 on Bitcoin to think about taking profit, unless I see very high volume weakness or something go on. So as far as swing trading, holding, that's it. Wait for things to move. So yeah, there's a ton of selling, or at least relative to our quiet range in activity. Ton of selling on the 618 overshoot. So yeah, there's a ton of selling. Whoa. So here's the resistance before we broke it. Happens to be 618 exactly. Weakness, 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 confirming as we come down on regular volume and back into the range. Five-minute about to close with a nice rejection. Again, I know I'm repeating myself. This is what we got to work with today. Is it really high volume? No. That's what it is right now, though. It's kind of quiet. But this is the highest volume turning out to be in a few hours on the 618 rejection overshoot, right? So if we can see this about to close down and start to come back and confirm the fake break pattern over the 618, then we got a high probability of moving down. So as long as we get here, we're likely to do that. Then we have a bit of the 14 EMA test for demand, right? If this high volume demand here gets rejected, who knows? But if we can come down off weakness and see regular to low volume there, that could be a good run down right off of that. All right, so working with what we got. See if we can get below. Again, it depends how aggressive the 14 EMA is here to test for demand, but at least to see this confirm with a lower close. Confirm weakness right in our area. Fake break pattern, 6-minute overshoot. The volume's there. This was a setup that, I said potentially could form, so it's not random at all. Very common pattern. So the first thing is obviously to see that close well off the high. On the more volume, the better. At least we got the highest volume in a few hours, right? So there's that start. And then the reaction to that, on top of seeing it quickly get back in to range, and the reaction being down, ideally right now on this candle, confirming the weakness, confirming the fake break pattern. And from there, the probability of moving down, has just increased a lot. And then there's the idea of looking at the demand and seeing if that's inactive and the imbalance, waiting for that or not, depending how aggressive. Well, the first thing is let's get back into the range, confirm weakness with a lower close. It was right in the area that we always see we have planned out. So it's a good start. So again, even on a 1-minute chart, it's all the same stuff. This could be a 1-hour chart in your background. We get this detailed information about supply and demand, and here's where our supply came in, the selling, our first area to test for demand, and we actually see some. Not as much activity, but it's there on that test, right? Just facts. If this was low volume, we would have likely broken right after that. And maybe we come down to see that, but for now we're bouncing off a bit of buying here. So the demand is still active to some extent. So we don't see the imbalance extreme enough, right? On high volume selling, low volume buying, that's a bit much. So it plays this game, right? Until you see an imbalance that's good enough, or a trending move, but we're not dealing with a trending move. We've been in a range, and either we're breaking out or we're fake breaking. We want an answer. So in this situation, I was hoping to have more trades, but you see what's going on, right? What am I going to do? Sell and hope that these buyers go away? Buy off of this, even though they're selling right there, right? So yeah, it's a wait and see. High. If we come up here now, let's see the sell activity on high volume again, or not. We're playing this game, right? It's not high probability right now, though. But right here's it. Let's say, are they going to squash it down? Are we going to get a volume spike? And maybe we do see that, and then the buyers go away. And then we have our imbalance, right? So that's the little game. If we come up in this area and we don't see this activity again, if it's low volume, it's going to try to break to the upside. So reading this stuff, even on a 1 minute chart, 5 minute chart, you get a sense of when the imbalance really shows up. And if there was lack of demand here after that weakness, right, we would have had an imbalance and been able to short. But then you see it pop up, you know, let it figure itself out. This is euro dollar. You should be able to see in the top left. Some of the others might have been a better pick, but yeah, I went with the euro dollar as the focus. Pound is kind of doing the same thing. Australian dollar trended up again like it always does. It feels like every day it just trends up. We'll include that tomorrow. Yeah, there's the activity. It's kind of, wish we could have seen a bit higher price, but again, we know the selling is there. Is the demand still going to be there? Now watch, we're going to range for 2 hours up here. No. All right. So we're back to the bottom of the little range. Again, if we break on low volume, right, we have a supply-demand imbalance finally showing up. Lack of demand. Let's see if we get that. kind of an aggressive push down here. Let's see if we can hold it or it gets bought up. 5 minute. Has a few minutes left. There it goes. So as long as it doesn't get popped up on increased volume, is likely coming down. We have the fake break pattern finally confirmed here on the close, if we close here. 14 EMA on the 5 minute, which is nice to see if there's not a lot of demand. So this is it. Like, if you don't get high volume here, we'll say the lower the volume, the better. And the lower the close, the better. So it's starting to confirm there. Okay, yeah, that's a 1 minute close at least, looking pretty good. A little decrease in the volume, yeah. Yeah. An entry here at like 30. 15 pips stop gets you way above that high. Depends how tight you want it. Let's see. That's nice, accepting these lower prices, decrease volume there. 5 minute is testing the 14 EMA. It's not getting bought up. Where's the high? Oh, this high we gotta consider for stop loss. Well, it's a scalp. It could be just above this high if they're really ready to mark it down. And wish this volume was higher, but it's the highest of the recent range. It's just not really high volume stuff. It's reacting pretty well here. As far as not hitting high volume buying. It's not low though. Ugh, let's get out of this range. Yeah, it's probably doing it. Like I said, the lower the volume, the better here. You see it's just sort of average. So we might be able to do it, especially if we maybe do end up seeing low volume here. This 1 minute. 5 minute says average medium volume, right? At least it's not high. It's at least the supply higher than the demand, so to speak here, right? Should be moving down. We're sort of getting there. But again, the lower the volume, the better here. Yeah, looks like they're kind of aggressively pushing, so maybe we're going to see a markdown style. Again, not bad. Medium. Almost convinced that it wants to come down from here, right? Almost. There's a nice low volume. Okay. 1 minute chart, but there it is. Let's get on our way now, sellers. Anytime now. No demand. Yeah, it's kind of like if sellers don't take it here, we're just stuck. This range is literally 10 pips. So we see a pretty decent imbalance of supply. Demand is medium to low. And if they're going to go for this markdown or not, would be a good probability to get for the entry. If we get back up into this range, we're just kind of flopping around sideways. This is also now a test of the bottom of that range. So break test continuation would be nice. Extra confirmation with that pattern. Yeah, 5-minute close. Low volume, yes. At least we'll take it. We'll call it low. So again, testing for demand here. We kept running into some. Low volume is good. Technically, you could call it a VSA entry to enter off of weakness, no demand, just below here. So basically 2.9. Need these sellers to get to work. Let's go. I hope we're not just ranging around until US session. That's no fun. Yeah, seeing the other, especially the Australian dollar US trend, and I just haven't been focused on it. Typically, you got to get, so yesterday was really good too. I was hoping to get more of that. But we were trending pretty well, and then we're just kind of shrinking in range on the euro dollar. So, again, today I'm just kind of getting used to scalping and being focused while I'm streaming, focus on that. And I just want to stick with the euro dollar. So maybe I'll include the pound dollar, and maybe switch to the yen pairs if that's cleaner too. And more opportunities. This guy's likely going to the high here. It is into the high of the day. Not my favorite place to buy. But if this closes up off the 14 test, a bit of selling up there. High of the day. Fake break. Kind of a mismatch. Yeah, I mean, at this point we have a higher, low, lower, high sort of shrinking wedge. Started off trending nicely. Choppy sloppy. So yeah, next time I'll keep an eye on a few pairs. Just wanted to be really focused on one today, but choppy sloppy. Got one little trade earlier. Well, we didn't go into markdown, right? Sellers didn't take that opportunity. That's typically because they expect higher prices to sell into. So again, we might get a weakness up here. We're starting to see it already. But this little 12 pip range, right? As long as there's weakness into higher moves and you start to see this lower volume out here, then you have the more supply than demand. You break down, and it's a good entry. But I mean, we're talking about, can we get out of a 12 pip range? I guess not. All right. Again, as aggressive as I was looking to be today, just got stuck in this range. I'll look at more pairs. But in this situation, yep, if we're coming down, right, waiting for this to resolve this tiny range. Again, if we're seeing high volume into an up move, come down as a result. And again, look to get through this area. Maybe an opportunity sooner, but since there really wasn't too much issue with demand. But here would be, again, testing for demand, and you want to see low volume, right? We're just playing this game. The indicator colors highlight it kind of okay in this situation where it's green and red. It tells you about the buy and sell activity. Sometimes they're a little off. It's just to see at a glance, but you see this sell volume, the buying. Again, this could have been a spike higher in volume and come down as a result. We would have seen that more weakness. Okay, maybe they're going for it here. What is everybody doing? Let's see. These other guys are looking, Euro's not looking that weak compared to the others versus the dollar. So yeah, starting tomorrow, next time I'll definitely keep an eye on more pairs. That's a pain in the ass. The one I picked kind of got stuck. But yeah, close down here on low volume, good, telling you demand is not active as a result of this sell activity. So maybe you can try to move down. Generally, the US dollar index move up. See, like I pointed out, I like to see 5-minute closes. In this case, below the 14 EMA. That closed on it. That closed on it on the 5-minute chart. This might be able to do it now. That helps the probability. So, you know, how aggressive you want to be. There's that close below there. There's the testing for demand and close below there if there's no high volume. And that closes in under 2 minutes. So again, if unlike these is able to really close below the 14, it's going to help probability of moving down in the near future. Getting close to entries, and it just wants to go back in range. Still seeing if we can get this close below the 14 EMA here. Couple minutes left on this bar, so this might do it. That's what we thought about this one, and then it popped up. All right. Finally, it closed below the 5-minute 14 EMA. Things are slow, but it suggests from this point, at least increased probability is going to try to move down. You got to deal with the bottom of this tiny range coming up right here. But that's nice low volume on that test there. And it closed below finally. Yeah. So low volume here is good. Potential entry. Short. Let's not pop up on high volume, right? And we see lack of demand. Looks like it's kind of wants to mark down maybe and wake up. So putting on a position here potentially would give thinking about the stop loss. Meanwhile, it's popping up. Yeah, I don't want to see that. If we do a fake break and stuck in this range again, it's just unfortunate. But yeah, I gotta watch more pairs. I don't want to suddenly just jump into a pair I haven't been watching. Like I need to kind of, with scalping, get into the, watching the behavior closely. I'm really just watching this. Figured today we at least get a few opportunities. Got one little one. All right, a little volume on that. Go, oh, come on. That's the 1 minute. Maybe the sellers want to finally take it. Yeah, I'll put something on that. All right, I'm putting a short entry there. That's basically 28 before the price gets any lower. So entry short Eurodollar at 9928. Throw in the stop just above the recent high and then manage the trade from there. Just throw in the stop real quick just to get it. Then I can adjust 4-5. That's kind of high for our scalp too. But let's see. So at this point, we want to see lack of any. Let's make sure my mic was on. Lack of any demand issue, right? If we get high volume rejection, we go back into this range again, right? That's what you don't want. Don't want high volume rejection. 1 minute is a bit of activity. It's not terrible. But it was a nice low volume attempt here. This wasn't bad. This close is good. There is, to some extent, the imbalance to the downside at this point. It's not the most extreme with high volume weakness, low volume demand, but yeah, it's there. Should be able to get out of this range finally and not have a fake breakout. And then, manage it from there. There's a bit more activity than I want to see. Basically, the lower the volume, the better. So you can see it's kind of a slight increase, kind of medium. So really staying below here, as far as if you're looking at it like a scalp point of view, this could now act as a break test continuation pattern. If it wants to bounce back to that, right, which is only a couple of pips drawdown, no big deal. And then if it does close back into range, you could even start scaling out and closing the short, right? We're talking about this thing is supposed to go and stay below this level. Otherwise, we're back in the weeds, right? And if you're scalping, you may just want to cut it for -3 pips. You know what I mean? Because really, if we're not breaking out of this range, what are we doing? So that's my logic there. So like I said, for this kind of entry on a scalp, as we break out of the range, if we're calling it a scalp and keeping the losses small, break test continuation, yeah, it can overshoot, test the 14, go up a little, give it some room to overshoot on a break test, maybe back into the range a bit. But again, you know, logically, if this fails the breakout of this tiny 12 pip range, we're kind of just floating sideways, going with the wind. Okay, nice rejection there. Let's get on with it. But you see the logic, like why let it keep ranging, right, and get it, this drawdown all the way up there if we're talking about scalps, right? Or like these little, it's based on this pattern now playing out. That was a good initial rejection. Let's see if we do it. All right, it looked like it hit some aggressive selling right off at the level. Let's go. But yeah, I wouldn't mess around and hold anything back into this range if we fail this breakout. This is just asleep and, you know, wait for better conditions. Meanwhile, next time I'll watch multiple pairs. We're really going to fail this breakout? All right, I'll probably really tighten up my stop then. So if we get this breakout to the downside failing, I would just get out. What was that entry there? 27. I mean, 35 is like plenty of room. That's almost too much. But I'll move it down to 35 at the moment. That's only a 9 pip stop off that 27 entry. But that's my logic on this. Either it's breaking out of this range or, come on already. It could be just, you know, we're waiting for U.S. session and maybe even a nice pop up and we really get some high volume weakness. And that's like a main method of mine, is just to look for the weakness on high volume to short today, since we're in a bearish environment, markdown. But it's been a quiet start relatively. Looking at today, nice activity back there, but once we got into London, you know, we kind of got quiet. Yesterday really trended all day. We're just shrinking here. Yeah, maybe I'll just close. I can't believe it's failing this breakout. It's really going nowhere. How's the dollar index doing? Failing its breakout. Yeah, of course. So I'm just giving it a last chance if it wants to hit selling or something that's going to save this. But the breakout failed. That's the 1 minute chart, 5 minute. If this closes inside, that's failing again. And really stuck in the tiny range. Just close it. But meanwhile, my stop's at 35 anyway. It's the wedge pattern, the worst thing, just dying activity. Structure just shrinks in range. So yeah, definitely watch multiple pairs next time. Well, my stop's at 35. I'll gladly get out of this for only a 9 pip on the stop if it wants to do that. If you look at the high-low structure, it's just shrinking and then failing. If it tries to expand and failed, not good scalping conditions. Started off so nice, the trending moves. But yeah, with stop at 35, it gives it a little, maybe it wants to do a last swing and like lower lows, lower highs finally, right? Maybe. Is that too much to ask for? I think so. Okay, I'm out of that. Failed to break. Back into the range. Too dead. I'm out of that -9. So the first trade was 8 pips. I closed half. This trade was 9. Didn't close. So it's, if you average it out, it's like 3.5 pip. If it was a full position, 3.5 pip loss for the day. But man, too bad we got stuck in a range like that. At this point, how much longer do I want to go? But I still think it's best if you're scalping, the euro dollar is kind of the choice. To see, there's no point in sitting in this. If you really want to focus on one thing to scalp and really, really like lock into what's going on, right, the way I'm doing. But yeah, it just so happens this one got so stuck and rangy. The other ones had kind of better moves. I don't know. I'm just not focused on it in that way. But yeah, I'm going to have to do that. You get a few days of euro dollar not doing this chop, and you kind of think, oh, okay, good. I can just focus on one. Now, of course, the day I stream, it's the one that chops. Yeah, we're still kind of going sideways. It's just kind of not trendy. At this point, if we're going to move up, we're getting towards the U.S. session. My regular method trade, the high probability bullseye trade. Okay, if we're breaking 618, it may even go higher then. Just to redraw, the high of yesterday is a clear resistance to look for. There's stop losses above there. Fake break pattern. So as we get to New York, my regular method, what I'm looking for is maybe that to occur. Off weakness. Just kind of dead and got stuck here though. Sitting above this 618, so really, as long, it didn't do an overshoot and come down. I'm not even worried about that fib. But at any point up, move in weakness, it could be a fake break of this high now that it's been established so far, high of the day. If we look at the volume for today, it's just nothing. So, good activity and weakness wake things up. I'll be looking to get short. Unless high volume says something else is going on. But yeah, I wouldn't hold this at this point the way it's just shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. I'll draw it one time. I hate it so much I don't draw it. That's why I hate it so much I don't draw it. Special occasion. There it is. Yay. The worst shit in the world for scalping. And the thing is, when you finally do get out, let's say you break this, you come up, right? And then you just reject that and come back down. And then you range. So yeah, you can see the low activity. But at least that's an example in patience and cutting a loss small. That would have been draw down, draw down, draw down. And I probably should watch multiple pairs. I'm going to be flipping a lot. I'll be flipping. So maybe I'll end the stream, but I'll be around in the Discord, especially weakness into up moves today. We're looking for that. But we're just too quiet right now in the activity. I'll probably stream tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get more stuff. I'll watch more pairs. Get busy. All right, so I'll end it now for today. I'll try to pop in the Discord, see what's going on with setups, and probably stream tomorrow. Watch multiple pairs and see if we get a little busier. But yeah, you have days like this. Scalping, what are you going to do? It'll wake up. So we'll talk in the Discord if anything's popping up. Looking for weakness into up moves today, ideally to short. So I'll probably be streaming tomorrow. All right, guys, have a good one.